Hey folks, welcome to Homestead. This is Travis, and yes, I have not posted in quite a while. I realize that, and I'll probably be making a video, here shortly, over the next few days, explaining why, at least some of it. I've gone through some pretty rough things in life recently, or in the past few months, and I kind of felt that I needed to take a break from videos. So that's why, but I'm getting back on and making some more videos, so you'll be hearing more from me soon. Today I'm actually not on the homestead. I'm at a local kind of wildlife preserve area, a little conservation area, where there's hiking trails, and you might see someone walking by eventually. I'm on a little trail right now. This is a prairie area, and thought I'd get out and just do a little exploring. Now, so why would I do this? I mean, I have wildlife and nature all around me, so why go off the property to look at what else is out there? I think it's a good idea to do that. Part of it is just the enjoyment of seeing something different, exploring. I think that's kind of what most of us are. In our heart, are explorers. So there's that. It's a good place to get out with the kids and family and stuff and run around, a little exercise. But it's also good to get familiar with places that might be in your area that are like this. It's becoming more and more common that there are little hiking trails, nature preserves, wildlife areas all over the country. And so there's a possibility that you may have that in your area. Now, if you live way out in the woods and the boonies and stuff, that may not be the case, but there could be things like national forests or parks or state conservation areas, things like that in your area. If they're close enough, I would advise you to take the time to go out and explore them. Even if you may have dozens or even hundreds of acres out in the woods, it's good to know your surroundings. It's good to know what is out there, because you never know when you might need to use an area like this for a food source, different things. Now, if you're having to travel miles and miles and miles to get to it, it's probably not going to be a place that you're going to potentially use in an SHTF situation. You don't want to be going that far from your homestead, from the area of operating. But like this one, this is just a few miles away, so it's close enough that I could go to and maybe glean from a food source that's out here, or a medicine source, or even a hunting source. Now, some of these places, like this one, you can't hunt, okay? You can't. The hunting's not allowed here. Some of them, some conservation and state park areas you can, but this is not one of them. But, you got to make a decision after, if it's a balloon going up kind of situation. Maybe it doesn't matter then. I don't know. That's your choice, not mine to make, because it's something that you've got to decide if you want to do that. But it's definitely a place where you can find, wild plants growing. As I'm walking here, I'm seeing bee balm, which is a medicinal and a food source. I'm seeing Indian paintbrush there. There's lots of milkweed around here. Milkweed can be a food source. Not a big food source, but, it can be. In fact, there's some seed pods right there, milkweed pods that you could eat if you wanted to. Those were a little old, probably wouldn't want to eat those, but you could get something like that. And, in a prairie situation, a place like this, you're probably going to find more medicinal type plants. But there's lots of trees around here, so I'm sure there's nuts. There's probably, back in those woods, there's very possibly berries and things like that. There's probably some greens out here. We're getting into summer, so foraging for greens is going to get less and less because most of the greens have kind of getting into their more mature growth, and they're going to be more bitter and more woody and stringy, and not really something you want to eat a whole lot of, but there are going to be some. But the point is to get out and explore areas like this that are in your area. You know, it's sad that there are so many places like this around the country that so many people don't use. You know, not everyone is fortunate to live on, you know, a bunch of acreage that's basically like this and you own it. Not everyone is that fortunate. And so take advantage of these kinds of places. It also helps you get familiar with plant life. You know, maybe you're not going to use all these plants, you know, around here right now, but you at least can get familiar with them. I just passed, before I started doing the video, there was a bunch of echinacea growing up a ways. And of course that's a great medicinal source there. Good antibiotic type of plant that I'm sure most of you are familiar with. Fairly popular one. So get used to this kind of stuff. Get out and explore, and become familiar with the things around you. Some of you, you know, the kind of more prepper mindset, you want to get familiar with the resources, you know, people, things that might be resources to you. Well, this is a resource right here. And it's free to go to most of these kinds of places. There's no charge. There's just little hiking trails, walking trails around. So get used to them. Explore. It's good for exercise. It's good for, you know, just having family fun, bonding time. But it's also a good place to identify things that you might need now, and especially in the future. Medicinal food sources, food sources, things like that, that could be growing right around you. And so it's something to become more familiar with, and to become well associated with what grows in your area. As many of you probably know from past videos, I'm really big on learning the plants that grow in your area because of the potential uses, medicinal and food sources. There's so many, and everywhere you live, unless you're living in Antarctica, there are going to be plants around you that you could use for food and or medicine. A lot of times the food and the medicine, they kind of cross over. So get to know them. You can't stock up on all the medicines you'll ever need. You can't stock up on all the foods you ever need. Yes, you can grow things, and I always encourage that, but you also need to become familiar with what grows wild. This is here for a reason. I mean, it was created and given to us by the Creator for a reason. Not just so that we can, say, oh, it's pretty, it's nice, let's go walk around in it. It's here for us to use. And it's a forgotten knowledge for most people. It wasn't that long ago that most of the human population recognized that this is a food source, that this is a medicinal source, this is healing, and this is nourishment that grows wild. And you take this and add it to what you're cultivating in your gardens, and you can, have a pretty good, well-rounded food and medicine sources. So become familiar with it and what's growing on your own property, so that you can become better at taking care of yourself and your family, feeding them, healing them, and then, like I said, someday, you never know what might happen, that that knowledge of foraging for food and medicine becomes a necessity and not just a hobby or luxury. So become familiar with it and grow your knowledge. There's great books out there. You can watch some of the videos I've posted on that. Or there's other people that probably have even better videos on, books on herbs and foraging. So anyways, thank you all for your amazing support, especially since I've been, down and out and not producing videos for a while. I am getting back on that horse, and Going to start full steam ahead here shortly. So I appreciate that, and I look forward to talking to you all again and reconnecting here on Set Apart Homestead. Thank you.